Hi viewers, welcome to Gani's YouTube channel. In this tutorial, I'm going to explain you how to create fabrication drawings or single part and assembly drawings in Tekla Structure 2022 version for the simple column with the base plate. Okay, let's start. Open Tekla Structures with Indian environment. Now we're going to open our example. You can see in our example we have simple column with the base plate information we have. We're going to create model first, later we're going to create single part and assembly drawings. Okay, let's start. I will provide this PDF example in the description. Please download and practice along with this video. Okay. In this PDF example, we have ISMB 350 column with the height 3000 level and bottom level 0. Now I'm going to create model first. So before that, we're going to create views. So click on grid and deactivate this option. You can see direct modification. Click on it to deactivate and then select this grid. Right click on mouse, create views along grid lines. Now type here elevation on grid. Similarly, we're going to type here at the bottom elevation on grid. Then click on create, then click on OK and OK. Now I'm going to place the column at this location. So click on steel and select this column and zoom and click on here to place the column. Then right click on mouse, interrupt. And you can see in our example we have ISMB 350. So now I'm going to edit this column to change this profile and height. And currently this is the transparent view, shaded view. Now I'm going to make this one into render view just like solid. So use the shortcut Control 4. You should select this option Control 4 to select this column easily. So use the shortcut Control 4 to make render view. Then double click on this column to edit. You can see by default we have profile ISMB 400. I'm going to change this profile to ISMB 350 just like in our example PDF 350. So click on here profile catalog 3 dotted, and in this list we're going to select this ISMB 350 standard column. Then click on apply OK. Now click on modify to see the result here. You can see this column size should be reduced. Click on modify. Now this column size should be ISMB 350. Now coming to column height. In our example, we have top level 3000 level and bottom level is the 0. So we're going to change these levels. So under position, you can see top, we're going to make it 3000 level and bottom level 0. Then click on modify to see the result. You can see now this height should be 3000 level and bottom level is 0. Now close this window and click on window and select this view list and select this option planet 0 and click on this arrow to open plan view. You can see under this visible views 3D and plan view both are there. So click on window and select here. You can see we have two views 3D and plan view. You can shift from here also 3D and this is the plan view. Okay, on top you can see this column like vertical direction. In our example we have column horizontal direction, so we're going to change this column position. So double click on it, this column, and we're going to rotate 90 degrees. You can use this option also. Click on currently by default we have front, so click on here and select opposite of front. We're going to take back, then that is both are same. It will rotate 180 degrees when you select to back. So you need to take top, then click on modify to make 90 degrees, then close this window. Now click on window and select this 3D view. Now I'm going to place the base plate at here. So use the shortcut Control F to open application components window like this. Otherwise you can directly click on here to open this application component window. To create base plate we need to select this component here. So use the shortcut. You can type here base plate. Then you will get this component base plate 1042. Select this component. And you can see in the command bar it asking pick part. You need to click on this column. Next it asking pick position. So you need to click on here at the gradient section point to create the base plate at this location. Now close this window, right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, redraw view. You can see now this base plate is the transparent. To get a solid view you can use the shortcut shift 4 for component, and for objects you can use the shortcut Control 4. Okay, you will get like this. Now use the shortcut Control R for rotation and click on here the position and hold the control and mouse middle button to rotate like this. You can call it as a mouse middle button or scroll button. Just hold the control and press the scroll button, and you can rotate like this. Okay, now going to edit this base plate. So in our example, we have base plate information here. So we're going to enter these values. So double click on this base plate. Now click on parts tab. Now plate thickness, in our example we have 16 millimeter. So let's take here 16 millimeter, and prefix we're going to take BP, and take start number 1 and type here name base plate. Now click on modify to see the result here, the thickness. Now thickness should be 16 millimeter. Now go to anchors tab. In anchors you can control the anchor size. You can see now anchor rod 20 millimeter. So click on here profile catalog and circular section rod, take here 20 millimeter, then click on apply. OK. Now click on here nut profile, and we're going to take before strike, type here nut and click on enter. Now click on here user defined fixed and click on here plus symbol to open this list. Let's take this profile nut M20 HSFG. Now click on apply. OK. Now click on modify to see the result, but you won't display here because you need to select this option base plate with anchor rod. Now click on modify to display the anchor like this. To display nut and washer profile, you need to click on here and select S, and this one also S. Click on modify to see the result like this. By default we're going to take L bend anchor, so click on here and select L bend anchor profile, click on modify like this. Now go to bolts tab. In bolts we're going to change the spacing and number of bolts from this window. Now we're going to take bolt size also 20 millimeter, and tolerance we're going to take 3 millimeter, and click on modify. Now we're going to change the spacing. So you can see this is the base plate length, this is the base plate width. In base plate length side, edge distance we have 100 millimeter on both sides. So we're going to take edge distance here 100 millimeter. This is the base plate length and this is the width. So enter here 100 millimeter, click on modify to see the result. Now I'm going to change here number of bolts. You can see in our example, in length side, in opposite direction you can see rows we have 1 and 2 rows. So we need to enter here number of rows 2, and the spacing between the bolts, you can see this is 1 row and this is the second row, and the spacing between these 2 rows we have 200 millimeters. So we need to enter here 200 and click on modify to see the result like this. Similarly we're going to enter in the width side also edge distance. This box indicates the edge distance. You can see in our example we have edge distance 50 millimeter. So enter here 50 and 50, and number of rows we have 1 and 2. So enter 2, and the spacing between the 2 rows we have 100 millimeter. So enter here 100 and click on modify. You can see you'll get like this. Now click on modify, apply. OK. Now click on space, right click on mouse, redraw. Okay, now I'm going to create single part and assembly drawings, fabrication drawings for this simple column with a base plate. Before that we need to make numbering. So click on here drawings and reports. Before that, double click on this column. You need to take single part drawing for this part numbering. Also we need to take small c. For example, capital C is the assembly number and small c is the part number. Then click on modify and close it. Now we're going to create the numbering. So click on here drawings and reports and click on here perform numbering and select this option number modified objects, and click on here save numbers. You can see numbering completed. So now I'm going to create fabrication drawings. First of all we're going to create single part drawings for this column and this base plate. You can also verify the assembly set. Just select this column, right click on mouse, inquire, and click on here assembly. You can see this orange color indicates the primary part and this yellow color indicates the secondary part. That means this is the main part, this secondary part is welded to this main part. Okay, in this list assembly, simple assembly, we have only simple I section profile part and we have base plate. Okay, you can see in this inquiry list also you can check here small c1 indicates this I section profile, and BP1 indicates the base plate part. These are the two part numbers. Okay, now I'm going to create single part drawing for this I section and this base plate. So select it, right click on mouse, create fabrication drawing. You can see we have two options here. One is the capital C1, and type A indicates the assembly drawing, and small c1 type W indicates the single part drawing. We have two options here. You can see this drawing for the single part and this drawing for assembly drawing for entire this part, including this base plate also. Okay, now I'm going to create two parts here. So click on create. Go to the drawing list. You can directly click on here, document manager, or you can use the shortcut also, Control L. You can see in drawing list we have two drawings here, single part drawing. Another one is the assembly drawing. You can see small c1 is a single part drawing for this I section, only for I section profile, and capital C1 for assembly drawing. In this drawing includes this main part and the secondary part base plate also. Okay, now I'm going to create a base plate single part drawing also. So you can, if you select here, this is the component selection, base plate and anchors and everything is included. If you want to select only the base plate, you need to select this option. You can see this second one, select object in component. Click on it to activate. Now click on this base plate. You can see now only base plate is selected. Now right click on mouse, create fabrication drawing. You can see in this list also we have two drawings, capital C1 and BP1, but capital C1 already created, so there is no tick here, and this also tick mark here already created. It indicates already created. So now we're going to create only BP1 drawing, single part drawing. Then click on create. Okay, now go to the drawing list by using the shortcut Control L. You can see now we have three drawings here, single part drawings 2 and assembly is the 1. You can see small c1 is for I section profile and BP1 for base plate and capital C1 for assembly drawing. Okay, now I'm going to create a single part drawing first. So go to drawing list and scroll it down like this. Now I'm going to open this drawing, small c1. So double click on it to open single part drawing. You can see in background it is opened. So now close this window. You can see by default you will get like this. Okay, now I'm going to edit this drawing. So before that, you can see this length of this drawing is more than this drawing sheet. So I'm going to reduce this size. So when cursor move nearby this part, you will get this boundary. So double click on this border to open the property window. If you want to scale down this one, you can use this option, but I'm not going to scale down this drawing. Now just compress this drawing. So click on here attributes 2. Now shortening here, you can see under shortening, currently this is not shortening here. So now I'm going to shortening this column. So click on here and select S, then click on modify. You can see now you'll get like this. Now we're going to increase the length. So that means it does not change this actual value of this length, just we're going to represent presentation of this length, we're going to change. So let's take here 700. Now click on, let's take 500 first. Now click on modify. Now I'm going to increase more. So let's take 700. Now click on modify. Okay, if you want to increase more, let's take here 900. Click on modify. Okay, that's okay. You can see actual length is the same, but we're going to increase the length of the presentation of this column. So when you shortening here, it will get here the cut gap here. So to reduce the gap, you need to enter here. You can't make it 0, but you can make minimum value. For example, let's take here 0.1 is the minimum value for this gap. Click on modify to make like this. Okay, in print it will not appear this gap, so you need to make like this. Now click on apply. Okay, now click on this window, click on this border and drag and place like this by using the left mouse key. Just make this one center like this. Okay, if you're a beginner, you don't know how to create this dimension and part mark, so I'm going to delete this one and I'll create once again for you. To create dimension, click on here dimensioning and select this horizontal dimension and zoom it and pick the first point here and pick the second point here and press the scroll button to place the dimension. Right click mouse interrupt. You can see now have dimension like this, 2984 length. You can see in bill of material also the same length will be here, 2984. Okay, we're going to change this arrow shape here. So double click on this dimension and click on here appearance and click on here. We have different types of arrows. Now I'm going to select this option and click on modify, apply, OK, like this. To create part mark, select this part, right click on mouse, add mark and applied. Okay, by default you will get like this. Capital C1 is the assembly mark, but we need to create here part mark because this is the part drawing. So double click on this to open, select this assembly position, remove and select the part position and add and click on modify to see the result here. This is the part mark, small c1. Just like in bill of material, we have part mark, small c1. We don't require this border, so click on here general and click on here and select the first one without border. Click on modify to see like this. If you want to create the arrow at here, now under arrow option, select this arrow type, then click on modify, apply, OK, like this. For the next time, no need to change this options once again. You can save this format, so double click on it, and in the list by default we don't have any options here. Now I'm going to save this format, so enter here, let's take part mark and click on save as. Now you can see in this list we have part mark for this format. I'll close this window. Now click on modify, apply, OK. We don't require this center line, so double click on it and remove this tick mark here, then click on modify, then click on OK, like this. Okay, now I'm going to create section view for this I section profile. So click on views and click on here section and pick the first point here, and you need to pick the second point exactly perpendicular. You can see now have perpendicular option. If you don't have this, if you are not getting this snap symbol, you need to activate this option, snap to perpendicular, to get this option. So click on it and pick the first point of this box, pink color box, and pick the second point to cover this I section. Now click on here. If you get this letter symbol, then click on here to place this section like this. Now coming to these arrows are big, so I'm going to change this, reduce this length. So double click on this arrow and let's take here 5 mm horizontal and vertical and click on modify. You can see you will get like this, then click on OK. Now click on it and drag and place like this. Okay, now coming to section. In section, the title should be at the bottom. So to change this title at the bottom position, double click on this title, go to label, and you can see label position. Under label position, currently we have above, that's why this title at the top. So click on here and select the below, then click on modify to see the result. You can see like this. Scale 1:10, we don't record this scale title, so you can see under A2, A1 indicates the A-A and A2 indicates the scale. So we don't record A2, so option, so delete it, then click on modify to see the result like this. Now click on OK. Now coming to this hatching, we don't require hatching and this center line, so double click on this hatching, and we don't require the center line, so remove this tick mark center line, click on modify. Similarly, we don't require this hatching, so click on fill and click on here and select none, then click on modify and click on OK. Now I'm going to move this section, so click on this border and drag and place like this. Okay, like this. In section we also are going to create part mark, so select this part, right click on mouse, add mark and apply. You can see now we have part mark like this. If you want to place this part mark here, now select it, and if you want to move this with arrow, then hold the shift and left mouse key and drag and place like this. Now remove the shift holding, then only press the left mouse key to move like this with fixing arrow and like this. Okay, that's it. Now you can adjust the position like this. Now use the shortcut Ctrl S for save the drawing. Now close the window here. Similarly, we're going to create single part drawing for base plate. So go to drawing list by using the shortcut Ctrl L and drag like this. Now double click on to open this base plate BP1 and close this window. You can see you will get like this by default. These dimensions are default dimensions. If you want to use, you can use it. Now you are beginners, so we're going to explain you from the basics. So just remove this top view, we don't require it, and remove these dimensions, remove this dimension, and remove this part mark and this one also. Okay, first of all we're going to scale up this drawing, so double click on this outer box to open property window. Now I'm going to scale up this drawing, so let's take here 1/6, then click on modify. Let's take 1/5, then click on apply. Okay, now click on space, deselect this part. Now I'm going to create dimensions for this part, so click on here dimensioning and select this horizontal and pick the first point and pick the second point, next point here and next point here, and click on here to place the dimension by pressing scroll button. Similarly, we're going to create the dimension, horizontal dimension for total length of this base plate, so pick the first point and pick the second point and press the scroll button to place the dimension right like this. Right click mouse, interrupt. You can also adjust the position of these dimensions also after creating. Just click on it and you can use the left mouse key and drag and place whatever the position you require. You can adjust the position like this. Okay, now coming to in this direction, select this vertical and pick the first point and pick the next point here, next point and next point here, and press the scroll button to place the dimension, and pick the first point and pick the second point and press the scroll button to place the dimension. Right click mouse, interrupt to exit the command. Now click on it and drag and place the position properly like this. Okay, now coming to this hole size, just select this zoom and select this hole, then right click on mouse, add mark and apply. Okay, by default you will get this format like this, 4 into D23. 4 is the number of holes 4 and D indicates the dia, 23 is the hole size. If you want to place this title at here, now select it, hold the shift and left mouse key and you can place like this. You can adjust like this. If you want to change this format, then double click on it. Now for example, we're going to remove this size, then for example we're going to add number of bolts or number of holes is the same, so let's take in this list. So let's take first one is the number of bolt, then click on add, then click on modify to see the result. You can see now here number of bolts 4. After that we're going to make a strike, then scroll it down and select this text, click on add and let's take strike, then click on OK, then click on modify. After that we need to generate here number of hole size. number of bolts we have, the strike we have, next hole size, then scroll it up and hole diameter, then click on add and click on modify. After that we need to generate the hole diameter symbol, so scroll it down and let's take symbol, click on add, and under file click on here select and scroll it up. You can see we have dia M, select it, then click on OK, and we need to select this option, second one number, and zoom it by using scroll. You can see we need to require this symbol, so double click on it to get the number here, then click on OK. Now click on modify to see the result. You can see now we have 4 into 23 dia symbol. Next we need to type here hole, then dia hole, then click on select this text, then click on add and type here hole, then click on OK, click on modify, like this. We don't require this border, so click on general and click on here and select this without border, click on modify, like this. Now we require here arrow, so click on here and select this arrow, click on modify, apply, OK. For the next time, if you want to use the same format, then double click on it, and under list we don't have this format, so we need to save this format, so enter here. For example, let's take hole size, then click on save as. Now you can see in the list we have hole size. For example, you can see I'm going to delete this option. Now select this hole once again, right click on mouse, add mark and apply. Okay, we have previous format currently. For example, we're going to change the format, double click on it. Let's take standard option, load, and click on modify. By default you will get like this. Okay, if you want to change the format, we already saved this format, another format, so double click on it, click on here and select this hole size, click on load and click on modify to get this format like this, then click on apply, OK. Now select it, hold the shift and left mouse key and drag and place like this. You can place it here. Similarly, we're going to create part mark for this base plate. So select this base plate, right click on mouse, add mark and apply. Okay, so we have base plate, hold the shift and left mouse key and drag and place like this, and then remove the holding of the shift. Now use the only left mouse key and drag and place like this. You can see now we have part mark for this base plate BP1, and we have hole size 4 into 23 dia hole, and we have dimensions like this. Okay, now I'm going to adjust this base plate at the center of this sheet. So click on here boundary and drag and place like this by using the left mouse key. Okay, now coming to this material list, we have BP1 is the part mark and plate thickness 16 millimeter and width 200 and length 400. You can see we have width 200 and length 400, and thickness information we have in the bill of material here, so no need to worry about thickness. Plate thickness 16 millimeter and material grade IS 2062 and quantity 1, and we have weight also here 10. Okay, that's it. Now use the shortcut Control S for save and close this window here. Now go to the drawing list by using the shortcut Control L. You can see now we have completed single part drawings both, and now coming to this assembly drawing. So double click on to open the assembly drawing. Now close this window. You can see by default you will get section views and side view like this. You can keep this section view and side view, and default dimensions is more than enough for this fabrication drawing. Since you are beginners, so we're going to explain you from the beginning. So just drag and delete this section and side view also, and just remove all dimensions. So now we're going to create from beginning. So drag and place this column here. Initially we need to increase the scale of this drawing, so double click on the border to increase the scale up to open the property window. Now I'm going to increase the scale, so let's take here scale 1/8, then click on modify to see the result. Now I'm going to increase more, so let's take 1 by 6. Click on modify. Okay, you'll get like this. Let's take 1 by 7. Click on modify and click on OK. Now drag and place here. We don't require the center line, so double click on it to center line and click on remove this center line option here. Remove it and click on modify, apply, OK. Initially we need to create a part mark for this I section profile and base plate. So select this part, then right click on mouse, add mark and apply to create part mark for this I section profile. Similarly, we're going to create part mark for this base plate. So select this base plate, right click on mouse, add mark and applied. Now we have base plate part mark also like this. Now coming to the dimensions, we need to create overall total dimension of this assembly. So select this vertical dimension and pick the first point here and pick the second point at here and press the scroll button to place the dimension. Now we're going to create the thickness of this dimension and length of this I section profile and press the scroll button to place the dimension like this. You can see I have thickness and I section profile length and overall length 3000 millimeter. Now coming to this part BP1, we have already generated this I section profile single part drawing and base plate single part drawing, so no need to worry about these dimensions of these holes and the length. But here in assembly drawings we need to give the relation between a primary part and secondary part dimensions and welding symbols. That's it. So now coming to here, for orientation symbol we need to give here orientation symbol. So double click on it on primary part. Now select this option orientation mark, then click on modify. You can see now we have orientation mark here. Now click on apply, OK. Now coming to the base plate, we need to give the relation between base plate and I section profile. So select this horizontal and pick the first point and pick the second point and place it here. Since it is a standard column, so we need to give the dimension from hole to top of this surface, and here also need to give dimension from hole to top of the surface and place it. Similarly, you need to take the section view and we need to give the section view information also. So click on here views and select this section view and pick the first point here and pick the second point and pick the cut box first point and pick the cut box second point here, and we're going to place this base plate section here. So click on here to place the view, section view like this. Now coming to here, click on here and drag and place like this. Now you can see now it's matching here. So now to move upward direction, so double click on it, arrow, and let's take the position, for example let's take 6 and click on move. You can see now it is in up direction. Now click on OK and click on this arrow and drag and place like this. Okay, like this. Now these arrows are proper position now. Now coming to this section view, I'm going to change this title at the bottom. So double click on this title, go to labels, click on here labels, then click on here under label position below, click on modify to see the result. We don't require this section 1:10, so remove this A2 mark, then click on modify, click on OK. Okay, these dimensions are more than enough, but we're going to create one second for you. So remove this dimension and we're going to remove this hatching. So double click on it to open, click on fill and click on here and select the none and click on modify, apply, OK. Now we need to give the relation between this I section profile and base plate. So both are in the exactly at the center. So to identify it, we need to create here dimensioning and select this horizontal and select this hole in the base plate versus center of this column and hole, and press the scroll button to place the dimension like this. Right click on mouse, interrupt. Similarly, we're going to take the dimensions in vertical direction, select it and pick the hole and pick the center of this column and pick the hole and place it here. This dimension indicates this column versus base plate exactly at the middle. Okay, this information is more than enough. Now we're going to create the part mark for this base plate and column. So select this base plate, right click on mouse, add mark and apply. You can see now I have base plate part mark BP1. So hold the shift and left mouse key to drag and place it in this direction like this. This is a base plate information. Similarly, we're going to give the part mark for this I section profile. So select this I section, right click on mouse, add mark and apply, and hold the shift and left mouse key and place it like this. Okay, no need to give the whole size here in the assembly drawing, because we have already created this single part drawing for this base plate. So no need to give the dimension for the edge distance and spacing between these bows and the whole size. This is only the assembly drawing, so we need to give the information only the relation between the single part and primary part and secondary part dimensions and welding symbols. Now coming to the weld mark, we need to give the weld mark between this part and this part. So we need to give the around weld. So click on here annotation and select this weld mark and click on here and click the second point here to place like this. By default you will get single side weld. By default you will get single side weld. Now at this position we need to give around weld, so double click on this arrow and now it's a far side symbol side. We need to place this triangle bottom side, so remove this triangle here, remove this weld size. Now enter here weld size 6 and enter this on below line option. Now click on modify. Now it's a near side weld symbol. Now to create around weld symbol here, so click on here and select this option, click on modify to get like this. Now click on apply, OK. You can place like this. Okay, this indicates the around weld with a size weld size 6 millimeter. Okay, like this. Okay, that's it about how to create assembly drawing for this simple column with a base plate like this. Now use the shortcut Ctrl S for save this drawing. Now we have the information about this two parts here. Small c1 is for I section profile. You can see we have ISMB 350 and material grade and length and weight. Now coming to this base plate BP, we have thickness and width and length and weight and overall total weight of this assembly 166.3 kgs like this. This is assembly mark, capital C1 is the assembly mark, and these are the part marks. Small c1 and BP1 is the part marks, and this is the assembly mark, capital C1, and we record the number of assemblies. We have 1. Okay, that's it. Now use the shortcut Ctrl S for save this drawing and close this window. Okay, go to the drawing list by using shortcut Ctrl L. You can see you'll get like this. You have completed 3 drawings. To identify that which drawing is completed, just select this drawing and right click on mouse. Otherwise you can see maximize it, select this drawing, then you can directly click on here freeze. Then you will get a freeze symbol. You can see where it is freeze here. You can see that indicates you have completed this drawing. So similarly select this both two, hold the control and select this two, right, then click on this option to freeze it. If you don't have this option here, then you can directly select and right click on mouse, click on here freeze, then select on or off. You can use this option. For example, if you have not completed this capital C1, then select it, right click on mouse, freeze and unfreeze it. After completing your drawing, then right click on mouse, select it and freeze like this. Just for identify that I have completed this drawing, to identify this symbol. After checking, you can use this option, select and right click on mouse, lock and click on here lock like this after checking completed. Okay, that's it. Now close this window. Okay, that's it about how to create fabrication drawing for this simple column with a base plate, single part and assembly drawings. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel, Gani SQ YouTube channel. If you have any doubts, please comment below. For more Tekla structure related videos, please go to my channel, Gani SQ YouTube channel. Okay, thank you.